Just before jumping into the most popular programming languages, I want to address one simple but rather tricky question. Why is there more than one programming language? The most important aspect is the platform, i.e. Android or iOS, Windows or Linux. Usually, you need to choose a programming language supported or in other words understood by the platform targeted by the project. Speed is something we need for good user experience or performance of a system like SMS. Features impact ease and speed of development and thus its cost. Lastly, two good to haves are ease of use and consumption of resources. For instance, Python, which we'll discuss next, is very easy to use, yet is pretty slow and consumes a lot of resources and so is not suitable, for example, for internet routers we have at home. Okay, with that out of the way, we are looking at Python. It's so famous, even people from outside the industry heard about it. What makes it so famous? Firstly, it's been around for 30 years. In IT, that's an eternity. During that time, it has grown a very vibrant and engaged community, which not only fine-tuned and improved the language a lot, but also written many libraries for it. Keyword here, library. There's a section dedicated to what a library is coming up soon. Secondly, it's very easy to learn. Some basic syntax reads pretty much like natural English language. Python courses on Udemy are among the most popular because of that. This ease plus the fact it's interpreted means it's very handy for scripting. Scripting, by the way, is putting together some commands to help with some menial or tedious tasks. It has very nice and terse syntax for algorithms and math, which made it the go-to language for machine learning, AI, and data engineering. JavaScript could be considered similarly popular to Python. Also easy to learn. Library for pretty much anything you could dream up, very active community, and well-documented implementations of even the most exotic functionalities. It is so immensely popular for slightly different reasons to Python, and the reason is this. Every single website on the internet that interacts in some way with the user is most likely using JavaScript to enable that interaction. Maybe because of that, there's a saying now in the IT industry, always bet on JavaScript, which probably means JavaScript should take over the world at some point. But JavaScript wasn't the first language to use the word Java in its name. It was Java. It gained the rockstar popularity because of something called JVM, a Java virtual machine. All you need to know about it is that it enables Java to run on almost any device. Sun Microsystems, the company behind Java, came up with the slogan, "Write once, run anywhere," which was then rephrased by the internet, of course, to "Write once, debug everywhere." It is a compiled/interpreted language and runs pretty fast. It is quite secure and very, very mature, which means it's super popular with big companies that run big systems. It's not the easiest to learn, as it requires understanding of quite a lot of programming concepts before you actually understand what you write. Next up, one of the most difficult general-purpose languages to learn, C. You can be sure that you have touched at least once in your life a device which was running software written in either C or C++, which we'll discuss next. It is a low-level programming language which allows the programmer to interact pretty directly with computer resources. It is used where you need granular control over your hardware, like for example in computer kernel. Next up is C++, which is the cousin of C. Authored by Bjorn Stråstrup in the 80s, came about with an intention to make programming easier than in C by using the concept of object-oriented programming, which in a nutshell involves manipulating objects in code, which is easier than having to write procedural code. It turned out the idea was very good, and C++ received very wide adoption in many industries where speed of execution is key. Now it is the language of choice for game development, virtual reality, robotics, science, and many other applications. Now let's say a few words about Microsoft's product, C#. It was created to tackle the growing demand for web applications at the beginning of the 2000s. Its syntax is pretty similar to Java and is using something called Common Language Routine or CLR, which is similar to Java's JVM, to make it run on different platforms alongside a multitude of different benefits. It is hugely popular, especially for developing Windows applications, game development, and web development, of course. Lastly, we have PHP. Fun fact about it is that more than half of the internet runs on PHP thanks to popularity of WordPress, which is using it under their hood. It was designed and is still used for web development. Despite its ubiquity, it is not very much liked by the software development community though, apparently because of its sloppy syntax, unpredictable behavior, and lack of restrictions, which leads to issues when running it on a website.